What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. We are back with another episode of comic books to read this week. My name is Justin, aka No Good Comics. Welcome back to the channel, and hope everybody got some awesome books over the week for New Comic Book Day. Of course, this is the show where I talk about, usually go about 5 books that I had just recently read from Tuesday and Wednesday's release from June 2nd, technically. So really excited to dive in because there were a good amount of books and some really amazing reads that I will get into in just a few minutes. But before I get into all that, just want to remind everybody first to take a moment to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Welcome. Appreciate you guys. I see we got a good amount of people hanging out with us in the chat. Also a reminder, this is part of the Tag Team Thursday crew. This is where Tag Team Thursday starts off with Rod, just a Rican, and his comics over on his channel. And we literally jump from channel to channel every 15 minutes or so, where the rest of the gang will talk a little bit about different aspects of the books themselves, like this previous week's books that have come out, or next week's books, or like Brandon, all over the place in different topics, which is always cool. And John, of course, doing the news, which is a lot of fun as well. So big shout out to the crew. I put all the information in the description below. So Rod, John, Tony, and Brandon. We didn't have Dan with us tonight for the show tonight, but I know he'll be back with us hopefully next week. Yeah, so let's see. We have about 17, 18 people hanging with us. Let's say a quick hello to the chat, and then I'll dive into my top 5 books that I'm really excited for. Probably gonna mention the 6 books. I know it was interesting. I saw Rod was talking about he had just picked up 3 books this week. I was hoping it was going to be a light week for me too. However, there were a few new books that I wanted to explore, and so I ended up buying more books. So, but hey, that's usually what happens to me, right? So let's see. We got Something Long hanging out in the chat. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. We got Copy 801. Hello. Let's see. We got Simon R in the house. What's going on, Simon? Good to see you. We got my girl Sheena in the house. What's going on, Sheena? Good to see you. There he is, Brandon, ComixKings. Like I said, part of the Tag Team Thursday crew. His information is in the description below. If you guys missed his 30-minute stream, he was going live for 30 minutes since Dan was out this evening. Let's see. We got Steve, Hip Hops, and me. We got Team Nerd Herd podcast in the house. Just did some collaboration with them, with Alonzo over on their channel this past Tuesday, which was a lot of fun. We talked about Army of the Dead, the new movie coming out. So that was cool. We got Gabby hanging out with us. What's going on, Gabby? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Comics are great. Anthony, what's up, brother? Thanks for stopping in too. Appreciate you. Let's see. We got Rudy in the house. What's going on, Rudy? We got Jason Claiming Comics. What's going on, brother? Bobby DeLegato. Yo, Station, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Fuzzy Dunlop. Hello. Nice to see you as well. Hope everything is well. Let's see. We got Big Herm in the house. Herminio, what is going on, brother? Good to see you as well, my friend. Off-World Adam. Hello. Greetings. Let's see. Think I'm getting everybody. See people saying hi to other people. Southern Comic Geek, what is up? Thanks for stopping in. There's John. Speaking of, there's the man right there. Just had his recent video tying into the Tag Team Thursday as well, doing the news. It says I got my 8 new books plus 1 from the week from last week and a trade paperback. That's not too bad. I ended up buying 12 books altogether. 2 of them were from last week though, so I don't know if that really counts. So really 10 books altogether. And one of them were definitely a cover buy, but we won't talk about that here. All right, I think I caught up with everybody. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Keep the chat going, and obviously I'll light them up as I go. There's Dale. What's going on, Dale? Good to see you, brother. Okay, so like I said, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure you're following the rest of the crew from Tag Team Thursday in the description below. And let's get into my top 5 books of the week this week that I've read so far, at least. I guess I can't really call them top 5 because I haven't read all of them yet. I'm still catching up. So these are just 5 books that I really enjoyed and I recommend. So let's see. And I kind of lied. I am going to say a 6th book here because it's only right because my thumbnail is Batman, so I have to talk a little bit about Batman. So this issue just came out recently. This is issue 109, came out on Tuesday. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Batman, the series in general. I personally am really enjoying it. I have to say the artwork is probably the thing that's really got me going more so than the story in this particular issue. I mean, the series in general, Jorge Jimenez has just been absolutely amazing. And I mean, I was just talking to somebody recently about they were saying they didn't like, they didn't like this issue, or they haven't liked the recent stuff, not this particular issue. And I was just pointing out that regardless of how the issue is in terms of the story, I am a huge fan. I mean, I like comic books 50-50 when it comes to story and artwork, and I'm curious where you guys stand with that. But for me, I look for, I guess I can't even put a percentage on either. I just look forward to both. And if one's really, really good, like that's going to keep me invested. That's going to keep me involved in a story, or in a series, I should say. And then vice versa. If the story is amazing and I just can't get into the artwork, I still will go about it. I still will want to read it. So I guess what I'm saying is, if one of them are bad, I don't necessarily let it stop me if the other is really good. But anyways, that's just kind of where I stand. I see something Wong saying 75 art, 25% story. That's really interesting. I mean, that's another thing too altogether, as oh, you know what? That's a topic for another day. But yeah, I'm curious where you guys stand with that. Anyways, this book right here, yeah, there's a lot of setup going on. It's kind of been going on for a little while now. I do feel like this particular issue kind of starts to go somewhere. We do see some other characters that are now kind of reintroduced and brought back into the fold. Some characters I'm not as familiar with because I haven't read some of the previous stuff before. Like I haven't read Joker War completely yet, and so on and so forth. So there are some things that I still need to go back on. But either way, I'm really enjoying the series. And like I said, the artwork alone to me is just 100% amazing. Look, even if you didn't want to read this book, but you like our artwork, like just buy this book. You can flip through it and just stare at the beautiful art, because that's how amazing it is. So anyways, that's what I think about Batman 109. Let's see. Copy says 80% story, 20% art. All right. Interesting. Where was that first one? Something Wong saying 75% art, 25% story. That is also very interesting. Let's see. We got Raging Cajun Comics in the house. What's going on? Raging, good to see you. We got Simon R. I think I said hello to Simon R. What's the best digital place for comics? Man, personally, I think Comixology is probably the best overall. It depends on what you're into. If you're specifically just into DC, then I would go with the DC app that they have out right now. Or if you're specifically just into Marvel and only Marvel, then I would do the Marvel Unlimited app. Because you will get a bigger bang for your buck with those if you are looking for something more focused. Or Comixology has a little bit of everything, including the indies and independent titles. So or you can be like me and just subscribe to all of them, because I'm a madman. And there's also Hoopla, which I never give enough credit to Hoopla, but Hoopla is a free app that you can use. It ties into your local library, so that's another good way to kind of explore some older titles that are out and about. So what's going on, Mastodon? Good to see you. Let's see. Anthony says, I love a great story with good artwork. That's fine. But if the story is so and the artwork is great, I'm not sure if I'll get into it. Would depend on the popularity. That's fair. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, sometimes I'm just so looking forward to the artwork that it's almost like the words don't even matter. If I truly am enjoying it, and again, for Jimenez, I love his artwork. I really do. He's becoming one of my favorite artists. I can't believe I wasn't, reading his stuff earlier or checking out any of his work earlier, because man, it's wild. Something Long says, I sold my Why the Last Man because the art was black. Oh, interesting. So that's a book I still haven't read yet. I know that they're doing a show or something coming out in September, but that's on my list. I have the trade actually for the first set. Let's see. Southern Comic Geek says Batman 109 was closer to what I'd like to see in the title going forward. Yeah, so I definitely, the first couple are like 106 to 108 is certainly more of a setup, like a longer term setup. But we finally get a little somewhere with 109, a little more excitement, and still leading to some things. So I also kind of see, like, I feel like that's how like Batman books are kind of, well, I guess just speaking from my experience, I would think that there's a lot of setup always involved, because it's like a detective type, story. There's mystery to it. You can't just constantly have like amazingness every single issue, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. I haven't read enough Batman to really say. So let's see. Otherwise, I would just read novels. Yeah. Well, so that right. So that's interesting too. Yeah. I mean, if you're 100% just story, then it's like, well, maybe you should just check out some novels. Then at that point, um, Steve saying hello to J2. Did I miss J2? What's going on? Jay Ramirez in the house. I think I missed him. Rajan says 65% story. I think that's fair. There he is. Jay Ramirez. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. We got LCS in the house as well. Hello, hello. Let's see. Anthony says DC and Marvel allows you to order from their apps respectively, but you can download all from Comixology. Yeah. Yep. That's for me, it's kind of the biggest win, Comixology. Because the other thing is Comixology. I buy, this is Comixology right here, right? So I do I do DC stuff, I do the Marvel stuff all the time. That's kind of mixed into this, and Marvel Unlimited I use for the older issues, that have been out for a while. So it all depends what you're into and what you're looking for. I think Comixology is a good place to explore if you're looking for just something new, trying out new things. See, if you like Jim Lee, it's all about the art. Same with McFarlane. Yeah, there you go. Huge names right there. What's going on, Buff? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. One example of this, or of what we're talking about here a little bit, is and I know I'm getting off topic, so I apologize. But one example is, I don't know if you guys have read Descender from Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, but that is to me, what I've heard, people either love the artwork or they can't stand the artwork, and sometimes that stopped people from getting to the story. I think it's all beautiful, and I personally love all of it. But anyways, yeah. So I just think it's interesting that that one could be so bad that it could stop you from reading it, versus I look at it as one could be so good that it wouldn't stop me from reading it. You know what I mean? Anyways, all perspective. Let's see. Jay Ramirez says Batman has been dope since City of Bane. I've been all in. Nice. Even even as far as the Snyder stuff. Yeah, no, so Snyder stuff I haven't read, but I've heard some very good things with that. But very cool to hear. Buff says I also collect both hard copy and digital through Comixology. Yeah, good call there for sure. A good way to go. Oh, what's going on? Perry in the house. I miss him. There he is. There's Perry. What's going on, brother? All right, let's get into the next book here. So another digital book here before I get into some of the physical stuff that I just want to talk a little bit about is Swamp Thing, issue number 4. You guys reading this right now? Man, oh man, I have to say, and I saw Rod talked about this on his show earlier today, and he made some great points. The fact that you do not have to be a fan of Swamp Thing to get into this and enjoy it. I mean, especially if you like horror stuff, like dark, this is a dark story. And I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not a Swamp Thing person per se, or at least I wasn't until I started to really explore. Granted, I did go back and read a little Alan Moore with Dan and Jennifer and John recently, a few months ago for a book club session. But other than that, that's actually kind of what made me say, hey, let me explore some of this. And I will say, reading that Alan Moore stuff is kind of paying off, because there are some small things that kind of hint towards some of that stuff. So it's kind of nice to see those little, I don't know if you call them, Easter eggs or whatever you want to call them. But I will say you don't need to know anything when you're diving into this series. So it's on issue 4. It's saying it's 4 out of 10. So apparently this is only 10 issues, which is kind of sad because it's just so good right now. I'm hoping that we see more of this particular Swamp Thing, Levi, because if you didn't know, that it's all about this newer person, Levi, who takes takes control of the green world. So anyways, Ram V is the writer, and Ram V is just killing it. So I highly recommend it. The other thing I should mention here too, Perkins is doing the artwork, and my goodness, some of this stuff is just so beautiful. Let me flip through here. So look at this panel here. My gosh. And this is the style of Swamp Thing too. So if you don't know Swamp Thing, I only know this because I read some of the Alan Moore stuff, but the style of the paneling and how things are laid out is just absolutely stunning. So, just awesome stuff. So, again, kind of an example of where, even if you didn't like the story, which I think you would love it, it's just good stuff. It's the artwork still is also just absolutely stunning as well. So, all right, I think I can switch over to the physical stuff. And I got 4 books here, so I just want to mention here, and I'll try to keep the rest of this brief. Let's see who else is in the chat here. Let's see. Rachel says everyone is different, but to be honest, I am a visual person to keep reading. Yeah, no, agree for sure. Depends on kind of where you're at and how you view things. Uh, Perry saying hello. Let's see. Rod the Rican, better than my 3 books. So Rod, dude, some of these other books I'm going to talk about. I mean, another one that Rod had talked about, I'm going to bring up here in a second. But yeah, there were some really good ones. Yeah, Swamp Thing is dope for sure. Totally agree. Yeah, artwork's insane. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go with. Let's start with Basilisk. Have you guys picked this up? This is a Boom Studios book. It is issue number 1. It's written by Cullen Bunn. I ended up also picking up the 1 per store version variant. This has kind of been my thing recently. I've been picking up the 1 per store version variants of the indie books that have been coming out. I guess specifically Boom. Now that I realize, because like Eve, I also just picked up recently that first book first version variant. But anyways, yeah. So Basilisk, written by Cullen Bunn. Cullen Bunn, he's done Eden and a few other books that I'm reading right now. I love his style. Very dark. I wouldn't say this is necessarily horror, but or at least not yet. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe it is to a degree. But essentially, it takes place where these 5 individuals show up in a town. We don't know anything about them, and they look scared and lost. They look like they just got out of a hospital, like they're wearing nightgowns, and they're walking out of the woods. They basically look like scared, but like haunted, kind of. And the people there, the townsfolk, kind of like go to greet them, and this is all in the beginning. It opens up with them like essentially attacking these townfolks, and we don't know what happens if they eat them or they I don't know, they take them in somehow. Like, I don't know. There is some gruesome stuff. All right, I guess maybe it is a little bit more of a horror story than I'm like kind of describing. But Rod says, damn, I want to get it. Yeah, Basilisk was a dope read for sure. Yeah, so this is basically, it now flashes forward to a time where basically people have died from these 5. And now from the 5, one of them has basically felt terrible for what they've done and is realizing like what's right and wrong, and has kind of left the group. And there is someone else, a main character here, who essentially captures this oddball out, the main girl who escapes from the 5, right? One of the initial 5. And she gets captured, and basically this chick is trying to get revenge, trying to seek out these other 4 because they had initially like killed her family. So it's really interesting, and then this girl agrees to like work with her basically. So that's kind of the direction that it's going. So I'm not doing this story justice. It's a really good opening. The one thing I will say, it's a fast read. And I think a lot of it was just more because it was more illustrated. I think I have to go back through again and just kind of, take a look through everything. I was reading it at work at lunch today, so I was kind of rushing a little bit. So I think that I need to take some time to really embrace some of the panels with this book, because I think there are portions where there's no words, it's just panels, which I love. And if you can tell a great story that way too, it's great. What's going on, Miguel? Good to see you. Let's see. Basilisk was dope. Can't wait to see the other powers based on the 5 senses. Yeah. So right, and that's a great point, Jason. So I'm all I know is the main girl that's on this front cover here. Her powers are based on her eyes, and so yeah, I mean, there's some blood from the eyes at some point. It's definitely a little gruesome at some point. So yeah, who am I saying? It's a horror book. There you go. What's going on, Phil? Good to see you. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate that. We got 20 people hanging with us right now during this Tag Team Thursday evening. All right, next book up is I'm going to go with Out of Body. You guys reading this right now? Let me know what you think. This is an Aftershock book. You guys, if you have followed on Instagram or YouTube for a while now, you know how I feel about Aftershock. They are amazing. Aftershock's been killing it, putting out so many good books. I've made it a rule for myself where I automatically want to buy issue number 1 of any Aftershock book that's coming out. So this was on my list. I talked about it during my top 10 picks video last week, and was really excited for the idea of this. I also got I don't know, I think this is like the 1 in 15 variant, but it's really cool. So it's like black and white, and then you can see, sorry, there's like just so much glare, but you can see this guy who's like tripping in rainbow colors. So, and he kind of is tripping, at least in the story, you kind of get an understanding. So long story, I'm going to try my best to describe this in like 2 sentences. Basically, I think that this story it's about a psychiatrist who is in some sort of accident or was attacked and doesn't remember how, and wakes up in, or is basically, I shouldn't say wakes up, is basically in a coma, or not a coma, but what is it? Living on machines, but it's like conscious. But the doctors don't think that he is conscious. So they think that he, basically is going to live on machines. And meanwhile, he is like awake in his own head. Like he can see everything going on. He just can't move. He can't react. Like he's in a hospital bed. He's like all bundled up and whatnot. His mouth is like open, making sure that he can't swallow his tongue, all this crazy stuff. So he has all these thoughts going on in his head. By the way, I just said I was going to try to say this in 2 sentences. Who am I kidding? So I was going to say the other side of this story is there is a girl in this issue who can astral slide, basically like do like an out of body experience where they can like send their what's that called, like their astral body out and communicate with others, especially those that are dead or those that are just in the astral plane that they can communicate with. So this guy ends up getting basically drugged by his like girl that he's dating or whatever, that visits him at the hospital, and she like thinks that he's in pain, so she's like, hey, I'm going to give you this drug, and hopefully this helps you during this pain, during this time. Hopefully it helps. And so she gives this to him, and that's where you get this trippy vibe. And it's also kind of part of this cover here. But basically the girl who has the ability to like talk to those in this astral plane, she is like called to help him. And of course there's like a villain involved, so there's this other dark side of things. So I really enjoyed it. Obviously this was a really wordy description. I really was hoping I could keep this to like 2 sentences, but did not happen. Let me see here. Jason says every issue one after from Aftershock are always almost the cardstock thick covers with which is nice. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that. Really good quality stuff. Life support. Yes, that was part of what I was trying to get out before. What's going on, Michelle? Moonlit Comics in the house. What's good? We got Hyper Combo Comics in the house. What's up, Hyper? Quick fire questions. Yeah, right. Astral Plane, like Professor X of the X-Men. Yes, sort of. Yes, sort of. Yes. Like, although the way they show her, it's I mean, it's almost like she's like a witch or something. She's got like candles around her and stuff. But for the guy, he's just, I mean, it's partially this drug that he took, and he's like able to see his own body. So he like floats out of himself, and all this stuff. So it's really interesting. Oh yeah, just like my rapid fire questions. Yeah, they're very rapid fire descriptions is what we'll call this show. See, Moonlit says, whoa, sounds crazy, but cool. I didn't pick it up, but I might go back for it. I personally think it's worth it, Michelle. I really do. It is that I think it's going to be a hit. I really like it. I'm enjoying it. The artwork's really good too. So yeah, I think it's worth it. Yeah, exactly. Fail. Let's see. Also the great, that was the other thing I forgot to mention. So yes, Jason, as you just said, Anaki Miranda's the one that does the artwork for We Live. And if you guys are reading We Live, oh my goodness. So that's the other thing I want to point out. That was something that stood out to me with this book, is Miranda's work in this is just absolutely stunning. So Aftershock does have great paper quality. Yep. His girlfriend talks to dead people and does drugs. No, so there's like, sorry, I like confused it, Anthony. So like there's his girlfriend like visited him and like slipped him a drug. They're like doctors. And so she thought that he would be in pain, and she thought that this would be, she was like, well, if you're dying and you're in pain, then this will help you. If you're not, well, enjoy this crazy trip that you're about to take. That's what the girlfriend was doing. There's like a detective. There's like someone trying to figure out like who attacked him or whatever, all this stuff. Meanwhile, there's another girl that's like completely on another part of the world who can communicate with him and is being drawn to help him. So that's where this, I didn't mean to confuse if I confused, but Picked it up with anything and everything. Nice. Can't wait to read it. Yeah, man. Let me know what you think. Marvel comic paper I need to treat like 100-year-old. Yeah, it's really not great. Really not great. We don't talk about that here, Steve. That's not we're talking about comic books here, Steve. That's sad stuff there. My wallet won't even look at me. All right, let's get into the next book here. I got 2 more books to go. So I'm really torn between these two because I'm actually gonna. All right, I'm gonna talk about this book. This is cover B, Nice House on the Lake, issue number 1, James Tynion. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And this particular cover is actually way more accurate than what you would think if you were just glancing at this book and not knowing what it's about and wondering if what you see here happens in the book. So yeah, as you read that, you'll get a much clearer understanding of what this cover is about. But anyways, I am loving it. Martinez Bueno is doing the artwork for it. Really enjoying that as well. By the way, this cover here I bought also because of Martin Simmons, who's doing what's it called? The Department of Truth stuff. So definitely loved that one. But this book is amazing. I love the concept of this. It's crazy. I mean, I know there was a lot of hype around this. It's DC Black Label. It's basically about these kids. So, you know, they're in early 30s, these people who are all called together by this one guy that they had met somewhere in their lifetime growing up, or they dated him, or they talked to him somehow, or they met him, and like he out of nowhere like invited them all to his house, and basically like they're not fully sure why they're there, but they're there hanging out. It's almost like a frat party. And then the world, things start to happen, especially in New York City, like bad things, like gruesome things, people dying, like really bad stuff. And I realized that I really, that's all I can really say. I really shouldn't say anything else. So I'll leave it at that. Maybe that leaves you to saying, oh, now I got to know what happens. But there's a reason he brings these people together. And you find out, a little bit of like who he is, kind of. It's amazing though. It's a really good, really cool concept. I highly recommend it if you guys are not, if you haven't checked it out yet, but it should be on your list. Definitely worth a read. Moonlit says, I'm waiting on my copies of Nice House on the Lake. Oh, nice. When you go to the Tynion signing, very cool. That's right. You're going there, Third Eye, right? I think. Very cool. I got cover A. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, look, if you, any cover you can grab, just to read it, even, man, oh man, it's so good. It is so good. Let's see. Definitely Lucky. He'll be, yeah. That's really cool that he's going to be there. Oh, responding to Rajan. Let's see. Oh, the Department of Truth, Cole Turner Easter egg in this tweets was or in this issue was a nice surprise. So I missed that. Oh my God, I totally missed that. I was reading this while I was on lunch at work, and I noticed that there were tweets and stuff, and I didn't like look close enough at the tweets that were in there. So there's a scene Jason's referring to that in the beginning that you start seeing this news and stuff, and they're reading tweets and stuff. Anyways, good stuff. Yeah, I'll have to go back and reread those now. Man, good call, Jason. All right, last book. Where'd I put it? So surprisingly, I didn't. I have a couple different things to say about this book. So it's interesting, and I wanted to hold this off to the end, even though I have to say probably Nice House on the Lake is probably my favorite overall book of this week. So I'm going to go with Moths, issue number 1. This is AWA Upshot, and let's see, written by Michael Straczynski and the artwork by Mike Choi, which I have very mixed feelings about the artwork. There are times where I love it, and there are times where I don't love it. But overall, the concept of the story is so good. It's so interesting. And this first issue really, I think, kicks it off well to make you want to really, go on with what happens. But basically, it's this girl, I think her name is Amelia Kai. And in the world, she basically discovers that she has powers. And that she is a moth. That's what they're describing as. And basically anybody who has powers or is a moth in the world, they have a decision where they can unlock their powers, which, by the way, they don't know what their powers actually are. They just feel it in themselves that they know they have abilities. Once the trick is, once you activate these abilities, you only have 6 months to live. So just think about that for a moment. If you knew right now, that you had, that like there was a hint of ability in you, that like you could do some powerful things, and again, not that it's defined, but you just knew that you had this, but you knew that the minute you turned it on, you only had 6 months to live. Would you do it, first of all? And second of all, if you did do it, what would you do with your powers once you, I mean, I guess you'd have to find out what they were. But that is such an interesting concept, and none that I've really read anything like that before. And I really enjoyed it. And I think it really ties into life in many ways. So I always think about, like, this goes back to my motivational speaker days, where I used to talk about, like, if you only had 6 months to live, what would you do with your life? How would you live it? Would you continue to live the way you're living now? Would you continue to work at the place that you're working? Would you continue to keep the people that are around you? Would you continue to keep them around you? Like, what would your daily activities look like? How would you live life? And, and then my point of that was, like, try to apply that to your world, in the now, and knowing that knowing hopefully you have longer than 6 months to live. Another saying of, like, live like you were dying, like truly enjoy every moment of life, and truly try to do what you love to do, whether it's for a living, or whether it's for during your downtime, or with your family, or whoever you want to spend it with, whatever the case may be. But anyways, that's just kind of one of the concepts that made me think about that, is to think about, is like, what would you do? And then with her specifically, Amelia Kai, again, she has powers. Her specific goal is she wants to do great things in the world. Because I mean, there's other things too. Like, think about, like, yeah, do you want money? Like, you want to be rich? Like, it doesn't really matter if you're not going to be alive anymore. So maybe money isn't the driver. Would you want revenge? Would you want fame? Like, there's all these different, like, questions that even the author writes and asks in the book at the end. So he brings up some really good points as, like, kind of the end credits of this book. But again, so it's 6 issues altogether. AWA Upshot, this is the book here. So, and like I said, the artwork is, like, very different. It's like almost purposely digital. It's probably digital. Like, the artist probably did it digitally, but it's almost like purposely recognizes it. Like, there's almost like some images that are, like, pixelated, but purposely pixelated. So, and then there's, like, some really blurred backgrounds, but then really focused items in the panel. So, like, it, and then all at the same time, it's like, it's beautiful. So you can't really hate on it. It's just different. It's very different. So I don't know. Anyways, let me see. Yeah, go check out those tweets for sure. Pick of the week. Nice House on the Lake. Agreed. Oh my God, go Peep. Yeah, no, I know. I got to get on that. Let's see. Mastodon, good to see you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. Moss was a beautiful book for sure. Oh, I'm glad you're reading it, Jason. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Man, that sucks. That's a long-term praying mantis. Talking about this, yeah, with the powers. Let's see. If only if my power is immortality, take that 6 months rule. Yeah, no, that's just it. Like, it's like, I mean, and the author kind of breaks that down a little bit. So it's a really interesting concept. And again, I think it kind of ties into life, and just kind of questioning, like, what are you doing right now? Are you doing what you love? And if you're not, what do you love, and how can you start applying that to your life in the now? So anyways, here, obviously, talking about superpowers and things like that. How would you apply that? It's interesting altogether. So anyways, I've rambled enough here. I'm going over 33 minutes now. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Oh, by the way, I have Bearded Comic Bros on this Saturday for Comic Collector Origins. That is going to be 2:00 Eastern time. Be talking with him on my channel. And then I will be talking with Olivia, the Olivia C. Briggs, the writer of Silver City, on Monday. So don't forget, that is Monday, June 7th at 6:00 Eastern on my channel. I'll have information over on my Instagram channel for you guys to check that out. But really excited. That's going to be another unique comic creator origins. We're calling it comic creator origins. So looking forward to that, talking with Olivia and hearing more about how she got into writing comics, and also how she developed Silver City. So we will see about how that goes. Let's see. Hyper says book is 6 issues, so comic follows her life in real time. Yeah, that's a good point. 6 issues. Yeah, if each one represented a month, that's interesting. Oh yeah, duh, yeah. You mean like the way it's like being released? Yeah, in our real time. Yeah, no, that's a really good point, Hyper. Uh, let's see. Empire, what's going on, brother? What is up, bro? Just stopping by real quick. Appreciate you, man. Got to get ready for a flight. Safe travels, bro. Catch the replay. Appreciate that station, bro. We also got Dan Comics hanging out with us during this closing. Appreciate you, bro. All good. Yeah, if you guys are just jumping in, catch the replay. If you guys are watching this right now on the replay, thank you so much for taking that time to watch it, guys. I dropped a video earlier today, by the way. It's always Thursday mornings at 12:30 Eastern, afternoon technically. My top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out the following week. So if you guys are curious about June 9th's books and you're looking ahead of time already, starting to plan out which ones you want to pick up, or maybe your LCS can put aside for you, go check out that video. Those are my top 10 picks that I'm excited for. Again, some really great books coming out, so keep an eye out for all of those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talking hyper. Moonlit says, awesome, great show coming up. Great picks. Yeah, absolutely, Moonlit. Appreciate you. Again, guys, make sure you're following everybody in the description below for the Tag Team Thursday. It's kind of torturous. Maybe they'll break it. Maybe not fully do. I don't know. It's one other thing with this book, I forgot. AWA. It ties the Resistance in with this book. I don't know if you're here or not. I know Rod reads the Resistance. I do not, or I've not started reading yet, but this has a tie-in. So there's a character in this book that is tied into Resistance. It says, if you want to learn more about this character, go read issue whatever of Resistance. So keep that in mind. I thought that was really cool that an AWA book is like tying two books together. So that's worth it. But anyways, great seeing everybody. I'm going to close out now. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will catch you guys